Hi, I'm Jim Denison with Denison Forum, and this is the daily article for Monday, March 29th, 2021. The title is Responding to the Oral Roberts University Controversy, Two Interrelated Imperatives All Christians Should Embrace Today. My wife's parents lived in Arkansas for many years. We think it's a beautiful state. I visited the campus of Oral Roberts University in Tulsa only one time. We drove around and then we left. And yet I really wanted Max Asmus's last-second three-point shot to go down Saturday night, as that would have given ORU the win over Arkansas in the NCAA men's basketball tournament and sent them to the Elite Eight tonight, but it was not to be. My sentiments had nothing to do with athletes on either team, but with ORU's commitment to biblical sexual morality and the enormous criticism the school is facing as a result. A USA Today writer went so far as to condemn the NCAA for even allowing the team to play in the tournament, complaining about ORU's, quote, deeply bigoted anti-LGBTQ plus policies that, quote, can't and shouldn't be ignored. In her view, the school's policies are, quote, wildly out of line with modern society and the basic values of human decency, end quote. Over the weekend, I saw an interview with the university's president in which he was asked about such criticism. He made the point that ORU simply believes in biblical morality and always has. He added that the school considers such morality to be best for all its students, faculty, and alumni. In other words, ORU embraces biblical morality because such morality promotes the basic values of human decency. To their credit, USA Today later ran a response by Dr. Ed Stetzer, professor and dean at Wheaton College. He describes the, quote, new moral dogma, end quote, of our day, which, quote, teaches that tolerance must mean agreement, then brands all who disagree as intolerant and harmful. Not satisfied that we respect opposing views on human sexuality, all must affirm homosexuality as acceptable within our own theology. There can no longer be any disagreement, only compliance. Dr. Stetzer adds, this is a stunning 180 from the arguments we heard back in 2009 when LGBTQ plus advocates maintained, all we want is the right to marry. How will my gay marriage hurt you? Now it's, we want your college accreditation, your athletic participation, and more. Dr. Stetzer continues, considering how much those who expressed concern a decade ago were mocked for advancing slippery slope arguments, the rhetoric deployed against ORU suggests these concerns were underemphasized. Well, here's the irony. As Christianity Today reports, ORU's, quote, involvement in basketball is part of a much longer story of Christian engagement with the game. The article notes that James Naismith invented basketball in 1891 at a Christian college, the YMCA International Training School. He described the task of a YMCA physical director as to win men for the master through the gym. From then till now, many Christian colleges and universities have developed outstanding basketball programs. In fact, the article notes that ORU is just one of 6 Christian schools which advanced to the Sweet 16 in this year's tournament. Well, my purpose in responding to the ORU controversy is not to vilify those who condemn biblical morality. Rather, it is to elevate Jesus' response to his critics on this day in Holy Week as our model. The story is familiar, yet stunning. In Matthew 21, we read, Jesus entered the temple and drove out all who sold and bought in the temple, and he overturned the tables of the money changers and the seats of those who sold pigeons. He said to them, it is written, my house shall be called a house of prayer, but you make it a den of robbers. And the blind and the lame came to him in the temple, and he healed them. I explained the background of this event in last year's Holy Monday daily article, and I've noted that, quote, at no point did Jesus endanger or harm humans by his actions. For today, let's focus on 2 interrelated imperatives our Lord displayed on this day 20 centuries ago. Number 1, be courageous. Jesus had already told his disciples in Matthew 17 that in coming to Jerusalem, he was coming to die. He knew his actions at the temple would provoke the very authorities who would later arrange his torture and execution. A skeptic could argue that his actions would not affect permanent change. The money changers could go back to their sinful ways after he returned to heaven. What difference would or could he make? But God assures us in Isaiah 55:11 that his word shall not return to me empty, but it shall accomplish that which I purpose and shall succeed in the thing for which I sent it. The temple would soon be destroyed and its money changers dispersed, but we are still discussing Jesus' courage 20 centuries later. Number two, be compassionate. Note that shortly after Jesus cleansed the temple, the blind and the lame came to him and he healed them. His courage paved the way for his compassion. What's more, his courage was an act of compassion. Jesus knew that rebuking the sin of the money changers was best for the money changers. The doctor who tells the patient he has cancer is delivering difficult but essential news. The attorney who convinces her guilty client to accept his guilt is serving her client. The first step in every 12-step program is for the addict to admit their addiction. ORU's president was right. Biblical morality is best for all people, LGBTQ individuals included. We're to speak the truth in love, as Ephesians 4:15 says, knowing that love requires speaking the truth, and that speaking the truth is an act of love. Jesus proclaimed in John 8:12, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. Novelist Edith Wharton noted that, quote, there are two ways of spreading light, to be the candle or the mirror that reflects it. Jesus is the candle. Will you be his mirror today?